and Karen Taylor Robson. Donald Trump has endorsed Lake, a former television journalist, while Mike Pence, Chris Christie, and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey have endorsed Taylor Robson, who is a real estate developer and former State University regent. And Karen Taylor Robson is joining us now. Thank you so much for being with us today. You hear how people are talking about this race you're in. It's being billed as a proxy war. Trump on one side, Ducey, Pence, Christie et al. On the other. Do you see it that way?
You know, this election is about Arizona and the future of Arizona, and I'm just proud to have the endorsement of people like Vice President Mike Pence and a long lineup now of governors and former governors who know specifically what it takes to lead a state. And so I'm just honored to have their support and their endorsement.
So policy-wise, what sets you apart from Kari Lake?
The biggest difference is I have a 30-year record of accomplishment in the private sector, building businesses, managing budgets, running teams, signing the both sides of paychecks. I have a long history and record of supporting Republican candidates and conservative causes. And that's why I'm in this race, to move Arizona forward and bring a conservative vision to our state.
Which is really a difference of experience that you're bringing to the job, right? But on policies, let's talk about immigration, for instance. You're both in favor of building the wall. You're in favor of surging the National Guard. Are there differences there?
Well, I think last week we obtained the endorsement of the U.S. Border Patrol Council, and the main difference is the Border Patrol Council knows that I'm the candidate that can get it done because of my record of accomplishment. Kari Lake supported amnesty for 11 million people. And so that is a significant difference between she and I. Not only did she support amnesty for 11 million people, she walked doors and supported Barack Obama while I was out supporting and working for conservative candidates. And so we just have a long history of differences.
And now she's talking about sending armed National Guard to the border. Is that what you're talking about when you say in your platform that you want to surge the National Guard, sending armed National Guard to the border?
We will send National Guard to the border, and they will be there in a support role for our local law enforcement. Our local law enforcement in Arizona are being overrun. We are on the front lines of what is really a 50-state crisis with the surge and illegal immigrants crossing our borders. Our local communities along the border, they're getting the brunt of this. And so we will do everything in our power. In fact, the first thing I will do as governor is call an emergency session of our legislature to make sure that we have the resources necessary to support our local communities down there, including surging the National Guard.
Let's talk election integrity. Your opponent says she wouldn't have certified the election if she were governor, as Governor Ducey did. Would you have certified the election?
Well, I'm a lawyer. I'm a trained lawyer, and I can't sit here and tell you without having been presented all the evidence. But there has been investigation after investigation. And are there things that need to be fixed? Absolutely. We have to require voter ID and increase penalties for ballot harvesting. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking at 2022 and doing everything I can to keep Arizona's governor's office in Republican hands. And that requires us to look forward and articulate a vision for the future of this state. And that's what I've been focused on.
Well, it's important looking forward, of course. But looking forward is Donald Trump very likely running for president again. So this is an entirely pertinent question. Would you have certified the election as governor?
Again, like I said, I wasn't sitting there, as Governor Ducey was, presented with all the evidence. I have to assume, based on his looking at the evidence, that he did what he believed was right.
You've seen the evidence. You've seen the result of audits. We've all seen the information coming out of Arizona. He endorsed you.
There are investigations. There are investigations that are ongoing. And I tell everybody, when asked this question around the state of Arizona, my focus is on looking forward. I am not going to get stuck looking in the rearview mirror. I am focused on looking forward and making sure we do everything we can to elect a Republican governor in Arizona, to nominate a Republican that can win in November. That is my focus.
Okay, but, you know, it's important. This is an important question again. That isn't necessarily a luxury that we have of just looking forward in this case. Do you accept the outcome of the election of 2020?
We have the wrong guy in the White House. and I don't
Do
like
you accept
who
that
is in the White House.
Okay, sorry, go on.
So our Constitution provides for one president at a time, and I believe the wrong president is in the White House. In fact, that's why I have given up my career.
Okay,
I'm
but
giving up my
wrongfully
family time and treasure to
yes,
run
but
for governor
I just want to be
because
very
I want to
clear
get
about
rid
this.
of Joe Biden.
You think he's the wrong guy in the White House? Wrongfully
Absolutely, he's the wrong guy.
Wrongfully elected or rightfully elected wrong guy for the job?
Okay, the 2020 election, at a minimum, was not fair, and that's my consistent answer. We had the media suppressing news, and I don't need to say anything other than Hunter Biden. We had big tech silencing conservative voices. We had judges across this country changing the rules in the days and the weeks and the months leading up to the election because of COVID and the chaos that surrounded COVID. At a minimum, it wasn't fair. We also had Mark Zuckerberg spending nearly $500 million to increase voter turnout in heavily Democrat areas across this country, including in Arizona. All those things together conspired to have 78% of the Republicans in Arizona thinking something was wrong with the election. I also am quite concerned about what President Biden and the Democrats are going to do in upcoming elections, now that he has signed an executive order directing every agency of the federal government to increase voter turnout and registration in the same types of precincts that Mark Zuckerberg spent $500 million.
But really quickly,
I'm focused on what they're doing in the future.
But before I let you go, do you accept the outcome of the 2020 election?
We have the wrong guy in the White House, and that's all I'm going to say on that. That's why I'm running for governor, because I don't like who's in the White House, and Arizona needs to stay in Republican hands so that we can kick him out of the White House in 2024.
All right, Karen Taylor Robson, we do appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's a massive wildfire burning near Yosemite. Thousands of acres torched there as people are forced to evacuate, and CNN is live on the ground.